The Colombian Air Force has been confirmed by the country's president, Gustavo Petro, to have selected the Swedish Gripen E/F fighter for procurement, marking a major gain for the program which has long struggled to attract overseas interest. Following the letter of intent signed by the government of the Kingdom of Sweden, and the approval of the country's strategic air defense as a priority project, the fleet of aircraft to be acquired is completely new, with the latest technology, already implemented in Brazil, and will be of the Saab 39 Gripen type, the president announced. No contract has been signed so far, with the number of fighters Colombia will procure remaining uncertain. It is expected that between 15 and 24 aircraft will be acquired to replace the fleet of Israeli K-4 third-generation fighters, allowing the Air Force to phase out the world's last operational Israeli-built fighter aircraft. K-4 fighters were acquired from Israel in 1989-1990 from Israeli Air Force surplus stocks, after the aircraft was developed as an enhanced derivative of the French Mirage 3-5 of the 1950s with new avionics and an American General Electric J79 turbojet engine. The K-4 was considered long since obsolete by that time, but was among the least costly NATO standard fighters available. The Gripen is by far the least costly Western fighter aircraft in production today. The Colombian Defense Ministry was in December reported to have intensified negotiations for the procurement of F-16 fighters from an undisclosed third party, with a $600 million acquisition of 8 second-hand aircraft having been planned. The announced procurement of the intention to procure the Gripen indicates that plans to procure F-16s have likely been abandoned. A major attraction of the Gripen remains its very low maintenance requirements and operational costs, which are significantly lower than those of the F-16 or any other Western fourth-generation fighter. In late August, the Royal Thai Air Force was reported to have selected the Gripen E/F as its next combat aircraft, with 10 to 14 fighters planned. A key reason for selecting the fighter is thought to be its high levels of commonality with Thailand's existing fleet of 11 Gripen C/D fighters, which were ordered 2008 and 2010 in 2 separate batches. The fighter was previously operated only by Sweden and Brazil, the latter which received its first fighters in 2020. No orders for the Gripen have been finalized in over a decade since the Brazilian order was signed in 2014, with orders from Thailand and Colombia having yet to be made. The fighter has nevertheless benefited from the considerable political pressure exerted by the United States and its allies on states such as Colombia and Thailand not to procure fighters from non-Western sources such as China and Russia, which has ruled out competitive rival aircraft such as the J-10C and JF-17 Block 3 from consideration. The Gripen E/F has failed to gain interest from countries outside the Western sphere of influence, with the rival similarly sized Chinese JF-17 Block 3 fighter and larger J-10C having recently gained orders from Pakistan, Azerbaijan, and according to some reports Egypt as well, while being considered by Uzbekistan and Bangladesh among others.